Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another video. Today we're doing another ES kind of overview today. And today's CPI. So it is definitely not really a particularly a good day to trade. But we did take one trade, and I took one little micro contract, and we're going to go over that. So as CPI hit, we created this massive red candle right here. And we went lower and lower and lower all the way down into this area here. Now, this is the lower quadrant of that new week opening gap. You see, I do have a little orange tag here. Price trades at a consequence encroachment of that 15-minute SIBI above, then runs to the lower quadrant of the new week opening gap. Now, the BISI I'm talking about is from yesterday. I think it was actually on the hourly chart. So it's like right here. This is where all that consolidation is taking place up here, or those relative equal highs. It's actually on the hourly chart, not the 15. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that. As you can see, all that was pretty much telling me we were going to be bearish going into CPI. Not that I was trading it, because I wouldn't do that, but we certainly failed to make some sort of high or some sort of progress above that midpoint of this gap here. So I knew we were going to run into some sort of sell side kind of PD array, and sure enough we do. We run into the lower quadrant of that new week opening gap, and then we start to rally higher, going pretty much against all of the downside here, because it's the lacking of buy side. So I'm going to go ahead and go over the little yellow line here, or yellow paragraph. Today is CPI day, so it's a risk on kind of day. So we, of course, started trading micros, and I wanted to lower that as much as possible, trading just one contract and the 5.12 handles. So price made a huge move to the downside, touching into the lower quadrant level of the new week opening gap. We got our 5.25 handle silver bullet trade today in the top step account, so I'll show you that here shortly. We went short at the 10:02 a.m. negative or bearish fair value gap and wanted to see price trade to the first presented fair value gap today because we're lacking some sort of sell side down there. So I was like, well, let's go short here and let's take our 5.25 handles. And actually, I think it was like at that low there, so it was like 6 handles, but anyway, I wanted to see it run into that, but the kind of thing I noticed a little later on when I was in the trade is that we had this 5-minute fair value gap against us, and I was like, oh, that's probably what it's really going down for. But our first presented fair value gap for today was in fact like the best case scenario, and not that it needed the trade there to be profitable because we were already in and out, but we took that silver bullet right here, if you can kind of see that right here, and we went short to that swing low there, which we ended up getting it, but it was on a very tight kind of leg, and we ended up hitting into that 5-minute fair value gap right here and rallied higher into the Tuesday's first presented fair value gap. So that was the draw for pretty much this whole leg upward. There was another silver bullet there. I did not catch that one, but that one does present 5 handles. And yeah, then we trade higher into that first presented fair value gap, and we run lower, and we actually respect the higher quadrant of the new week opening gap right there, as you can see. Then we have another silver bullet right here you could have went long in, another silver bullet right here, and it rallies, and it's starting to consolidate here. I think, if I recall, this is actually the okay, let me delete this. It's too much stuff on my chart. I already have this screenshotted, so I'm good. I'll go ahead and delete all of this. I'll go ahead and mark. I want to mark the quadrants of this gap here. Look at that. Bang! Look at that. Isn't that awesome? So that right there, if I delete this, this is the higher quadrant of this giant fair value gap over here. Look where price is running to. Isn't that just awesome? So that's really cool how it just almost taps into that, but we're just kind of ping-ponging around right underneath it in between these two levels here. See, is that doing anything? Oh my god, look at that. Look how we trade into that first presented fair value gap from Tuesday, even way later on in the week. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it's only Wednesday. It was yesterday's, but it kind of sucks we didn't run into this, but I do have a feeling we might run into that first presented fair value gap from today in the PM session. I'm not too certain. We might. But yeah. So I'm gonna go to my top step count now and show you. So as you can see, pretty much the same premise here. Lots of lines. I kind of hate having all these lines here, but it's kind of necessary to have when I'm, trading and trying to understand. So we made a measly $8 today. Or wait, where is it at? Where is my winning trade? Right here. Wait, no. Okay. So we're up total of $273, which is not bad, and we have a 47% win rate, which we're still working on it because we have so many losing trades because of the mess that we had at the very start. But so not bad, and we made a measly $28.01 today, which is not bad considering the volatility today. We really controlled our risk, and I didn't want to risk so much to where we were getting nervous, and I really was not nervous at all getting into this trade because we were only risking like $16, and my stop was right there because if you look closely, there is a tiny little fair value gap right here, which I had my stop just right at, I think that was the consequence of encouragement of that wick right here. So I thought that was a pretty good stop placement because if it rallied all the way up there and wicked into this, we just had a bad entry. It wasn't because we were wrong, but we were on the wrong side of the marketplace because I seen that the bodies were respecting the midpoint of the silver bullet here. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go short in this candle here, and we got our 5 handles, or a little over 5 handles right here because we made $28 instead of the 26.1 that it's supposed to have been, or 26.50, something like that. But we get our 5 handles, and it just rallies all the way up to that presented fair value gap, which is pretty cool. So that's why I like the silver bullet trade, because it's just such a little amount of money, and it's so easy to get out. Even in like little, like even if you're offside of the marketplace like this, you can still make profits with the silver bullet, as long as you're not very like high expectations wanting to get here because of the risk and just the overall sentiment here. Which I did actually want to see it run up into that first presented fair value gap, or at least the higher quadrant of that giant gap that it made this morning. And it looks like we're consolidating above that now, or rallying above it. So it would be cool if we actually fill that whole thing in. And yeah, pretty cool. So once we fill that in, I would like to see it possibly run lower into the presented first fair value gap from this morning that we lack any sort of sell side to, because we never did trade into it. And I thought that's what we were going to go to, but we never did. So luckily I had my discipline in check, and we got our 5.25 handles and nothing above that, because usually I like to change my mind at the last minute and like, okay, we're gonna go long or short here, but then I'm gonna have my take profit await this presented fair value gap, and once it gets to a certain percentage, I'll adjust my stop loss, and that'll actually be how I make money. But luckily enough, we didn't do that. So that's pretty much the overall kind of overview I had. So I want to take you to my screenshot here, right here. So this is the screenshot. This is my journal for today. Pretty much what you've seen at the beginning of this video. I always do this, always write like certain little bullet points here and the PD arrays that I've seen, and the kind of paragraph, the summary of today's price action. So the best case scenario here with this trade is I think we could have went long in this 5-minute fair value gap, because this, if it traded into this, we pretty much had balanced price range all throughout here. And I don't know if I really wanted to see this or not, but we did have the risk of it running to that first presented fair value gap if we would have actually went long here. So we rallied higher all the way up into that presented fair value gap, which would have pretty much been the terminus for today's price, or today's trade, if we would have actually went long here. So I think I would have been a little bit more patient, got in at that 5-minute fair value gap, and then rallied higher, because we didn't form an order block there, and it's just all these big fair value gaps right here and all that would have pretty much presented the idea that we were going to run higher, and sure enough we do. So anyway, I'm trying to keep this video under 10 minutes because I hate making these long-winded videos, and I might be forgetting something or whatever, but we did make money today. Made a little measly $28, but hey, it's profits. It's closer to that goal of getting funded, which is, of course, it's going to happen eventually, but it's just a matter of time when it's going to happen. So I'm gonna make another video tomorrow as well, depending on the market conditions and depending on how we trade tomorrow and all this, you know, all the factors. But I think overall we'll make a video. I'll force it out anyway, even if I don't feel like it. So I almost didn't make a video today because I was just, I don't know, I gotta make it a habit, kind of like all the other cool things. And look at that, we're trading into that higher quadrant. Look at the bodies, respect that, and that's just cool. It's so awesome. But anyway, I hope to see you all in the next video. Peace out.